The moon hung low in the night sky, casting an eerie glow over the old abandoned farmhouse where we had decided to spend the weekend. It was meant to be a fun getaway with my friends James, Kayla, and Judith. Little did we know the horrors that awaited us. We had arrived at the farmhouse earlier that evening, the dusty windows and creaking floorboards setting the perfect backdrop for a horror movie. The wind howled through the gaps in the wooden walls, sending shivers down my spine. But despite the ominous atmosphere, we were all excited for a weekend of ghost stories, games, and laughter. As we gathered around the fireplace, the warmth of the crackling fire providing some comfort, I couldn't help but notice the strange behavior of Roman and Mary, the couple who had invited us here. They had been acting oddly since our arrival, the smiles never quite reaching their eyes. I tried to dismiss it as nerves, but something didn't sit right. Hours passed, and as the night grew darker, we began to tell ghost stories, trying to outdo each other with tales of the supernatural. That's when Roman and Mary joined in, spinning a chilling story about a murderous couple who haunted this very fairy farmhouse. They described the killers in detail, and the eerie resemblance between their story and their own features sent a shiver down my spine. James and Kyla laughed it off, dismissing it as a prank, but Judith and I exchanged worried glances. Something felt terribly wrong. Roman and Mary excused themselves, saying they needed to fetch more firewood from the shed, and they disappeared into the night. As the minutes turned into an hour, our concern grew. We decided to venture outside to check on them. The farmhouse was silent except for the distant howling wind. The moonlight was our only guide as we made our way to the shed. What we found inside was a nightmare beyond our imagination. Roman and Mary stood there covered in blood, their eyes vacant and soulless. In their hands they held the lifeless bodies of small animals, their heads twisted at unnatural angles. "Roman? Mary?" I stammered, my voice trembling with fear. They turned to face us, their twisted smiles revealing a madness that chilled me to the bone. Roman and Mary had become the very killers from their own story, and we were trapped with them in this nightmare. Before we could react, they lunged at us, their bloodied hands reaching for our throats. Judith and I managed to scramble away, running back to the farmhouse in a blind panic. We slammed the door shut and locked it, our breaths coming in ragged gasps. The night was far from over, and we were trapped with two bloodthirsty killers lurking just outside. As we huddled together, the screams of our friends echoing in our ears, we knew that our only chance of survival was to outwit Roman and Mary, or become the next victims of their gruesome